Joys of a long week. It's Friday. There's lots to catch up on with the events of last week and this week as well. Firstly, I do want to mention John Minto. Much has been said about his hate hotline asking people to track down Israeli soldiers in NZ. Can I just say that John Minto's an idiot? A reputation which he has earned earnestly over many years, and which he works tirelessly every day to defend and cement in the minds of New Zealanders. So with that said, the Human Rights Commission reported this week that they received close to 100 complaints about the substance of his activity online, with Human Rights Commissioner Stephen Rainbow calling for an immediate end to it. Minto didn't come on the program in the end. He had no comment when I asked him on the complaints to the Human Rights Commission or to whether he'd encouraged harassment. He did, though, double down on his hotline idea while being interviewed on ZB. And it wasn't an idea. The idea was ridiculous anyway. The plan was essentially that he'd, set up a phone number for people to ring if they saw anyone that vaguely resembled a sunbathing IDF soldier. And then John Minto would turn up to the beach and start waving Palestinian flags in their face and shouting from the river to the sea. So what a dumb thing to do. And if you're John Minto, I'd certainly hope you're feeling a little bit silly at the moment. What's remarkable is that I don't know if there's ever been a self-proclaimed human rights activist that has engendered so many complaints to the Human Rights Commission for seemingly breaking human rights. It's pretty impressive when you think about it. Also, last week we got some mumbo-jumbo out of the Landcare NZ and Bioheritage NZ organisations who, according to the Taxpayers Union, allocated $4 million worth of public money to playing whale music at kauri trees and developing potions made from whale oil in an attempt to get them to stop dying. And this is a story we're going to crack into a little bit, hopefully early next week as well. Nowhere on their website did it explain how that's supposed to work scientifically, because I suspect it doesn't, other than some vague references to the whakapapa identifying sperm whales as the spiritual sibling of kauri. The New Zealand scientific community has got to stop with this line that mythology and sort of cultural practices need to be applied to scientific endeavours as much as actual science does. Both have their place, but this doesn't help anybody, least of all the trees, who are probably the most confused out of everyone at the moment. If I was a tree, right, and suddenly a bunch of blokes in ponytails turned up and started blasting deep ocean music at me and rubbing whale oil on me, I'd be probably not sticking around for very long after that, to be honest. It goes without saying, of course, that they didn't agree to come on the program, and the people involved with this egregious waste of taxpayer funds are remaining in silence. I think worth bringing to your attention also this week, the antics of the nation's media bureaucrats over the last sort of 10 days. We had numerous run-ins with the communication lanyards and story preventions this week that have been less than genuine and quite frustrating. The media teams working with both race relations and human rights commissioners have tried their hardest to sabotage or block us from interviewing the new commissioners this week, going as far as to outright lie to us and you about their availability for interviews. Thankfully, though, neither Stephen Rainbow nor Melissa Darby would give in to the bullying from their lanyard-wearing lackeys, and both ended up coming on in the end. But I would just remind you, if you are a media bureaucrat, salary paid by the taxpayer, you're there to facilitate and communicate the agendas of the commissioners, conciliators, MPs, ministers, whatever that you work for, most often elected by the public. You are not there to manipulate their message and mould them or their ideas into something more palatable to your own presuppositions, values, or ideologies. All right? And that's Holier Than Thou for today. Thank you, Josh.